I'm back with another Matchbox. And look, I got a little container for them. Let's just get rid of these. We don't need them. And now let's paint our Matchbox. Ready? Here it comes. Shake. Flick. What is that pink? Ashley doesn't do pink things. Actually, that's not true. Anyways, I'm gonna try to fit this whole miniature kit inside a Matchbox. What? That's not possible. Yes, it is. And here comes Agatha to help us out. Look, I only have the heart to remove her so many times before I just give up and let her do her thing. And right now her thing is to lay on all my stuff. So we're just gonna have to ignore her and continue if I can get to the stuff that's under her. So what? Are you biting? Are you biting my stuff? I think she's checking the wood quality to make sure that we're using high quality wood. It's very important. Anyways, it's time for you to go, Agatha, because we have a Matchbox to do. I really should invest in the sticky roller company. I use enough of them. Wacha. Okay, so getting back to this Matchbox. Shwabam. So I have a bunch of these miniature kits for two reasons. One, I went through that revamping of miniature kit phase for a while, if you remember. And then like any good ADHDer, I overbought. And number two, I steal the lights out of them. I could buy cheaper lights online, but that doesn't give me as big of a dopamine hit. Anyways, these kits are terrible. They're not very good quality. Yeah. Snap. They're a pain in the butt to make. And honestly, I just like making my own stuff anyway. But I figured it'd be cool to try to smash all this stuff into a small space. You know, like a tiny house. Do you ever watch that show, Tiny House Nation? They like literally shove a family of 7 in a tiny boxcar. No way that anybody's staying in there forever. I guarantee by winter, they're back in their old house. I'm pretty sure it's just for the cameras. Shwabam. Double shwabam. Or should I say triple? Anyways, it's not like I'm going to shove everything into this tiny Matchbox because that's crazy and there's no way that I could fit everything. However, I'm going to try my best to try to keep to the same feeling or vibes, the essence. I don't know. I think you know what I mean. Like they gotta look pretty similar. And I know it's crazy. I'm not making a creepy project this time. But you know what? I don't always have to do creepy stuff. Sometimes I can just do cute miniature things. And that's okay because this is my video and I can do whatever I want unless Agatha tells me different. And then I have to do what Agatha wants to do. But for now, she's not here and I can do whatever I want. And right now, I just want to zone out and make some of these little miniatures. And maybe if I don't lose interest in this project, I can make like a whole miniature village out of tiny Matchboxes. How cool would that be? Okay, so I have this not circle window, and surprisingly, it fits around our Matchbox hole pretty well. But you know, there's a weird line in the middle, so I took that out and re-put it on my Matchbox. And look, now it's a window with a frame around it. Break. Oops, why am I breaking it in half? You might be asking. Because look, I'm gonna add a little countertop. And I don't know if you caught on to the theme, but this is like a sweet shop, and a sweet shop needs a countertop. Hey, that rhymes. Also, remember, we're trying to keep to the theme of like, it's just a miniature. It's miniature Inception, and it's got to look like the original, and the original had a countertop. See, look, there it is, in case you forgot. Also, I want to challenge myself and try to only use items from the kit, you know, besides the Matchbox. That's why I did all that work to frame my not circle window. I mean, I could have cut out my own wood. That would have been easier, but that would be cheating. And I don't want to cheat. I want to use the stuff from the kit. Anyways, look at this little slice of lemon. Is that not adorable? It's going to go right on our dessert along with this little cherry. Yep, that's a pretty freaking cute dessert. What is that? Like a bundt cake? Or is it a Jell-O thing? I don't know. I'm not very up on my desserts. Next, we're gonna make like a little, I'm gonna guess this is what, like Dippin' Dots ice cream maybe? When I was making it, I thought it was like a bowl of grapes, but that doesn't make sense. Who eats grapes for dessert? Actually, I would, but who would go to a sweet shop and order grapes? Nobody. I'm like 97% sure that this is Dippin' Dots ice cream. And then the kit came with these adorable spoons. Look at them. Are they made out of the cheapest, thinnest material ever? Yes. But you know what? They're disposable spoons. Snap. The shop owner's not going to spend a bunch of money on spoons that are just going to get thrown out. Bam. In fact, Delilah, who owns this shop, I don't know if you knew that she owned the shop, but she does. She got really mad because people were stealing her spoons. I don't know why people would want to steal spoons, but to be fair, she was buying these really fancy spoons and they kept disappearing until one day she only had one spoon left out of like 100. And you know, you don't mess with a girl's fancy spoon. I have a few myself, so I know what I'm talking about. And when she opened up the drawer, there was only one left. And then she tracked down every single customer that was there that last week looking for her spoons. And so she broke into their houses and stole her spoon back. She also did something gross, probably, and licked all of their spoons in the drawer, you know, just for revenge. And the people, they woke up and they're like, why are my spoons slightly wet? Also, where's my fancy spoon that I stole from the sweet shop? And then down the street, you can hear Delilah laughing. Anyways, look at that. We did it. Okay, let's look at the kit and then look at what we did. Now I just need to make like 3 more and then we can have a whole mall of teeny tiny shops. So I guess hold on, because next we're gonna do the sushi shop. Look at this cute little booger. Yes, Agatha, we love your butt. And your air biscuits. Anyways, shake, shake. Tap. Let's get the second matchbox going. Snap-a-doodle. Okay, sorry, that was lame. Anyways, here's the miniature kit that we're gonna try to fit into the second matchbox. Shabam. This time I'm doing the sushi restaurant. Because I don't know if you know this, but sushi, shake shake, is my second favorite object in the whole entire world. First being circle windows. I think I could eat my weight in sushi. Something I can't do with circle windows. Nor would I want to. I want to put a circle window in my circle window hole in my wall. That's a weird thing to say, Ashley. You know what? You're weird. Just sit back and enjoy the art, okay? And just a fair warning, the art, shasha, that you're watching right now is not going to be creepy. Which I know is weird, but it's okay. We're gonna get through this together. Unless you've already left. Anyways, back to the art. So the kit has me cutting out these little paper utensils, which are ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It doesn't look like a utensil. I'll show you a utensil. I'm replacing the paper with this magic shrinky dink, which is the only way I can describe shrinky dinks because they are literal magic. I don't understand how they work. You start off with this flat plastic, you heat up said plastic, and it's a perfect miniature. Anyways, they look so much better than this ugly paper thing, which, okay, might be my fault for cutting it out really badly, but I don't know how else they want me to cut it out. I consider myself somewhat of a scissors expert, but these kits, I'm telling you, they make me feel scissors inadequate. Actually, these kits make me feel everything inadequate. Shasha. Half of the stuff I don't even attempt because I know I can't do. Anyways, so I'm adding this little box, but it sticks out and we can't have that. So I'm just cutting the edge off. And there, now it sits flushly inside our little matchbox. Shabam. And I was afraid that that box would get lonely, so I'm adding a second box on top of the first one. See, now it has a little friend. And then I get my box of plastic crud out. And I know this isn't part of the kit, but I needed something to fill a little gap. So I took an earring backer and a bead and glued this little label on, and now I'm sticking it in the corner. Does the label say coffee? Yes, it does. Is that a strange thing to have in a sushi house? Maybe. Shasha. But you're probably not going to be able to see it once I'm done because I'm going to cover it up with this frame that's the wrong size. Hacha! So that's why I had to split it in half. You see, I'm going to add a table because this is a sushi restaurant, and in a restaurant you need a table, obviously. Could I have just made my own frame that was the right size? Yes, but I like using stuff from the kit as much as I can. And this was a frame that was around a sushi picture on the wall in the kit. See, this one right here. But luckily it was close to the right size. Now I just have to cut the table to the right size. Flick. And install the table. That's a pretty nice looking table right there if you ask me. Next, I'm gonna add these little corners to the bottom of the table because otherwise the table's gonna fall down. And it's totally not because I'm trying to bridge the gap between the two frames. I'm just trying to keep it realistic. Next, I'll add my roof grass. What is roof grass, you ask? It's grass that grows on your roof, silly. What do you mean that's not a normal thing? It's totally normal. Okay, really, I added it because I needed this lattice work to sit up a little higher. Hey-cha! But I like to think of it like a garden that the restaurant can use. Or more likely, they're fake plants that are collecting a ton of dust. You ever go to a restaurant and you look up and there's like a half an inch of dust up there? Just clinging on for dear life right above my food. Ha-cha! Shake, shake. I know I said this wasn't a creepy project, but the thought of dust floating down from the ceiling onto your sushi is pretty horrifying, but maybe that's just me. Honestly, I probably eat a ton of cat hair, so I shouldn't be grossed out. Speaking of cat hair, here's a huge ball of cat hair right now. And she doesn't know how to take no for an answer. All right, now that we have our roof grass installed, let's install our sign. And I had to look up what the sign meant. It means shwabam. Wait, no, it doesn't mean shwabam. It's homakase. I'm sure I mispronounced that horribly. But I guess it means like chef's choice, or I'll leave it up to you. And for some reason, it's only frequently used in sushi. Also, the way it's written on the sign is wrong, apparently. But I don't know. I didn't make the sign. I mean, I made the sign. You saw me make it. I just didn't print the sign. But now I'm making an adorable little sushi boat, which I've never had a sushi boat, but they sound fantastic. You know what? When I get my circle window, I will celebrate with a sushi boat. In fact, I will drag our dining room table in front of the circle window and stare at my husband whilst eating the sushi boat. And if he thinks he's getting any of my sushi boats, he's dreaming. Unless he got me the circle window. Then I would share my sushi boat. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. But my husband won't let me get a circle window. And I'm just a little bit annoyed about it. Anyways, now that we have our sushi boat done, next I'm going to do a little sushi tray. And honestly, I don't know what else to talk about. I talked about the sushi. I guess I could try to come up with a story, something about a sushi restaurant, and perhaps a crazy chef that's using unorthodox ingredients. Oh, I know. So our chef that owns this restaurant, George, he lives in the middle of nowhere where there's no sea and no fish, but he wanted to open up a sushi restaurant because it was his lifelong dream, and we should always support people's lifelong dreams, even if they're circle window related. Jake. But what did George have a lot of? I don't know. What did George have a lot of? Mice? That's right. George had a traveling mouse circus that didn't travel very far because he's in the middle of nowhere. And that's what he used for the sushi? No, that doesn't make sense, because if he used the mice, he wouldn't have a traveling circus anymore. I don't know, but look at that. We're done. We don't need to worry about George at all anymore because we're done with this Matchbox and we're moving on to the third one. No, Ashley, you can't fit this whole kit inside a Matchbox. You wanna bet? I sure can. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, hey, Agatha. What's going on? Are we on to our third Matchbox already? Agatha says yes. Agatha, too close. Remember we talked about this. Personal space. She just likes to smell new people. Ouch. Agatha, why are you like this? All right, time for you to leave. So I took out my Matchbox. Shake, shake. Caw-caw. Snap, and cut a hole in it because we're going to do another miniature inside a Matchbox. And how am I going to capture this one in a tiny Matchbox? By skinning this pillow. I mean, sure, I should use the couch, which is this material right here, because it's so much bigger, but the pillow material is so much more fluffier. See? Crappy couch material, super fluffy material. So we're just going to have to learn quantum physics to make this material larger than it is. Or we could just cut it in half and then glue it on in sections. Now, this Matchbox might be my most challenging to date because it's a whole living room. And my last ones were buildings. This is a room. Shasha. How am I going to get the essence of this living room if I can't even fit a couch in there? I don't know, but it's going to be fun finding out. And maybe I don't. Maybe I fail. You don't know unless you skipped ahead. Did you go to the end already? Well, get your butt back here because I'm not finished talking to you. Yeah. And also, you haven't hit that like button yet. How dare you go to the end without me and not hit the like button? So rude. Unless you did hit that like button, in which case I'm sorry and I love you. Anyways, I'm just finishing up my living room wall here. And look at our cute little frames. We need to frame our cute little frames with a larger frame around our Matchbox hole. Snap. We've got to make our frame that frames frames. Boop. The right size. There, that appears to be the right size. Is it missing a whole side? It sure is, but we're going to ignore that for right now because I'm going to try to fit this coffee table in there. I know it doesn't fit. Just hold your horses. Shwabam. See, look, now it's gonna fit, I think. Hold on, I'm getting it. Don't worry, I didn't mismeasure or anything. Ah, see? You were doubting me, and you should never doubt me. I don't know. But now I gotta add the little other coffee table. See, it's like a bloopy coffee table. I don't know what a bloopy is, but bloop. I assume it looks a lot like that. Ah, yes, the one toothpick. Hacha! To rule them all. My precious toothpick. Ah, see, I told you I was gonna fix that edge. Just call me Ashley the Edge Fixer. Oh, right. So they wanted me to roll up this paper for a pot. And I said, nah, no thank you. And instead, I'm just gonna use this cap because it's cute. It's a cute cap. Perfect for potting my plants. I just have to clean out the paint a little bit because that would kill our plant. I think. To be honest, I have a whole bunch of plants, but they're slowly dying. I feel bad because I buy replacements, before they die. So they know they're going in the trash soon. But shh, we don't tell them because I wait until they're all brown before they become a trash plant. But this plant will never be brown because it's fake. in case you didn't know. And then I had to add this little coffee cup because it was about the only good thing in this kit. I'm not gonna lie, these kits kind of suck. Yeah, but I might be biased because I like to make my own miniatures. I don't like a DIY kit telling me what to do. Also, some of the stuff they make you do in these kits is nearly impossible. Like this one had a flower that I was supposed to spin out of paper or something. Shwabam. Look, I tried, but it was embarrassingly bad. I didn't even want video evidence of it, which is why you don't see it. Oh, also this guitar came with strings and little knobs that they wanted me to glue on, but I was like, nah, it's good. I'm far too lazy for that. But it also came with this cupcake, which looks odd to me. It's like the side view. So I dug out these cutie patooties instead, which you guessed it, came from other DIY kits that I also didn't follow the instructions to. Yeah, I have a problem with instructions. I don't know if it's my ADHD or if I'm just incompetent. Probably that one. But the second I have to read an instruction, I'd rather give up. I can never learn a new board game by myself. That's what husbands are for. They read it and then they tell me how to play the game. Which is weird because I wrote a whole book on instructions on how to make creepy crafts. Links in my bio or down below. Anyways. Oh, look, we added bunny ears to our matchbox. I kind of regret not making them bigger. Oh, and then I made this circle frame, but it looks like poop. So I left it off. And now I thought it needed a floor, so I added a floor. And what does a floor need? A cat. I mean, a rug, which is kind of like a cat. I mean, they leave their hair on the floor in pretty much a rug shape. Or maybe my rug is just covered in cat hair. You know what? Who could tell? I don't know. Speaking of cat hair, I just bought a shaver for my cat. Yep, I'm gonna attempt to shave my cat. Look, she has tons of hair, and I just think she'd be more comfortable if she had a little bit less of it. And also, my clothes would be more comfortable because they wouldn't have cat hair all over them anymore. I guess we'll see if it works. I don't know. I don't see why it wouldn't, except, you know, the cat has claws. Anyways, so I accidentally got some glue on the edge here, and it didn't dry invisible like the bottle claimed it would. So I just covered it up with some lace. That also came from another DIY project that I didn't follow instructions to. Ooh, it looks like we're done. Ready? Here it comes. Whoa! Ah, amazing! I'm sure that's what you're saying. Did I capture this miniature inside a matchbox? What do you think? And for my final matchbox, we're gonna do this garden. Cha-cha! Snap! So that will give us 4 matchboxes. Yeah, and I know you're asking, what's the purpose? What are we gonna do at the end? Well, don't you worry, we're gonna put it all together. You just wait. Oh, hold on, let me talk about this art for a second. So I went to frame this hole in the matchbox with the frame that came with the kit, but I made my hole too big. So then I covered it up. I don't know if you noticed, I added a scrap of paper underneath the hole. I don't know, it's not very important, but in case you noticed and were questioning, that's why I did it. Because some of you are really observant. Ooh, look at this little picture frame. I'll put you right here on the shelf. Anyways, so that with this being my last miniature inside of a matchbox, although usually the miniature is on the outside of the matchbox, it doesn't matter. I thought I'd go with the most difficult looking one, which I keep calling it a garden, but the actual title is leisure time. I don't know. See, like this little thing? I'm pretty sure this is like a little plant spritzer, is it not? It's either that or perfume. I mean, oh, also, there's a picture frame. So maybe it's not a garden. I mean, I guess nobody said that you can't spend your leisure time in a garden, except me. That does not sound like good leisure time. Look, it's not that I hate nature. Shebang. It's that nature hates me. Look, it's not that I don't want it to exist. Snap-a-doodle. I just wish I didn't feel weird when I went out in the sun. Boing. That was a weird noise. Smack. Also, I don't care how much bug spray I put on. Mosquitoes eat me alive. I was not built for nature. That's all I'm saying. But I do like plants. And I know you're probably asking me, Ashley, there's no plants in this build. We just wait your biscuits because they're coming. Look, here's a little plant right now. And yeah, it's potted, so I guess that's not very garden-like. It's more like greenhouse. But hold on, we're not finished. Because look, I have these 2 little leaves that I'm adding inside the little hut. Is it a hut? I don't know, but oh look. So this kit has a table, but obviously I don't have room for a table. So I'm using the little table leg as a, I don't know what do you call those? A column? Or maybe a banister, but that's like the whole length of a staircase. What would you call the thing at the end? Like a post? I'm sure it has some weird technical term, but we're gonna call it a post. And we're gonna put this little flower on top of the post. And it too gets a little pot, or I guess you would call that a vase. And there it goes, perched right on top of our post. It's a potted plant perched on a post. Oh wait, no, it's a pink potted plant perched on a post. Say that 10 times fast. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna add the little bric-a-brac. Bric-a-brac? Bric-a-brac, don't you come back? No more, no more. Oh, I guess it's a garden awning. That makes me think of like a sunsetter awning. But it's not really that. It's like a gondola. Wait, isn't a gondola a boat? You know what? Obviously, I don't know words, but you'll understand in a second. Snap. See, I just had to snap it down to size because this Matchbox is a heck of a lot smaller than the original, miniature thing. And then I'm adding these cute little vines along the posts of our bric-a-brac. And isn't that cute? It's like they're taking over the gondola. You know what? I'm going to call it a gondola now. Mostly because I know it's really going to make some people upset. It's my way of getting back at trolls. Oh, look, I figured out this little trick. So you know how sometimes your plastic plants look cheap? Well, if you heat them up with a heat gun, they look way better. See, look at the difference. It like melts all the little, I don't know, dangly bits around the edges. I'm not sure what you call it, but I'm like 23% positive that I came up with this trick and nobody's ever thought of it. In fact, we should patent it. The Ashley melts dangly bits technique. Okay, the name is a work in progress. I mean, does anybody have original ideas anymore? I always think that I do, and then I see somebody post the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh shoot, did I accidentally copy them, or did we both come up with the same idea at the same time? I mean, I don't mind when people copy my art. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. But I also want to come up with my own ideas, if you know what I mean. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this. Shasha. Maybe I should come up with a story. Boink. Do we have time for a story? I think we do. A really quick one. Okay, so Martha owned this garden greenhouse leisure spot. But her plants kept dying. So she developed a serum that she could spritz on them that would bring them back to life. Hold on, I gotta talk about this real quick. So I'm realizing that our garden greenhouse thing is really tall compared to all the other miniature Matchboxes. So that's why I'm cutting it down so it kind of fits with the others. Okay, now that you know what's going on, let's continue. So what's the recipe for Martha's spritzer? You might be asking. Well, Martha found out that the tears of children makes plants grow better because plants hate children. I don't know. Oh shoot. We're done already? I thought we'd have more time than that. Okay, quickly. Martha has children in the basement and she's collecting their tears because she's keeping them super hydrated. The end. And there's our 4 Matchboxes. Now I just have to make some sort of stand. Hold on, check this out. Shabam. Hey, remember these guys? Of course you do, because I just did them. And this is totally not 5 shorter videos pretending to be 1 longer video because that would be weird. And now I'm just making a stand for them. Or the idea is it's gonna be like a 2-story mall or a 2-story apartment complex. I don't know. Bloop. So I'm making a staircase to go to the 2nd floor. Shasha. What do you expect them to do? Levitate up there? I mean, I guess that would be an elevator. But you know what? This is going to be an old mall. Not that elevators can't be in old places. Man, I used to work at a place that had this super old elevator and it was super creepy. I swear, it was like the first elevator ever. And it'd always break down and everybody was scared of it. And we'd have delivery guys that refused to go in it. Mostly because they'd get trapped in there for like the whole day. But then they'd have to take the stairs and I worked on the 5th floor. Anyways, that's way off topic. Let's get back to this mall. Ooh, look, a circle window. Of course I'm adding a circle window. We all know that circles are the best shape for windows. We'll have no boring square windows in this. Okay, there are 2 square windows on the edge there, but it's okay. The circle window balances out the boring square windows. And uh-oh, this window's leaking. Nothing scarier than a leaky window and leaky walls. That's how you get mold in your house, I assume. I don't know, is that where mold comes from? I mean, maybe leaky pipes. Anyways, why am I adding holes to the back of this, you might be asking? And I know you are, unless you've seen a few of my videos. Then you know I'm adding lights. Because lights make a project super cool and awesome, and we only want super cool, awesome projects here. And look, I'm gonna add a really fancy light. Look how fancy that is. That's a super fancy pantsy light. And it's gonna go right in the corridor, which is a super fancy pantsy word for hallway, I think. Actually, is it? Maybe, but I'm gonna add lights behind where we're gonna put our miniatures. That way they're backlit with mood lighting. Also, I bought these really cool lights that I'm excited to try out. They're supposed to flicker, hopefully in a creepy sort of way and not in a twinkling sort of flicker. I think there's a difference. Oh yes, look at all these wires. It's like I'm twiddling my beard. Anyways, so I have to add the power supply somewhere, but it'd be ugly out in the open. So I'm gonna frame the top so you can't see it. And then I'm super gluing it in. And I don't wanna toot my own horn, but I feel like that's pretty smart. Look at all these wires. That's right, appreciate my ingenuing geniusness. Ingenuity genius. Ingenuity just. Anyways, so now that we have the lights in, I just have to cover all the ugly stuff up. I know it's our ingenuity geniusness, but it's still ugly. I mean, look at that. And then hold on, let me cover it up. Oh, it looks so much better. So did I mention in the beginning, I'm gonna make this look like an old mall? So I guess the only thing that this project is missing is like a creepy twist. Like maybe the people that own these shops are actually dead? Question mark? And this is an afterlife mall? I don't know if I like that. Hey, Emily. Okay, I know. So during the day, this is like a totally normal mall. But at night, strange liquid oozes from the walls. And mystery shoppers, hold on, look at my fan. Ha-cha! Why can't I ever do that? Anyways, back to the story. Mystery shoppers from beyond the grave. Oh wait, no, I know. Mystery shoppers from another dimension. They come and shop at night because the mall exists in both dimensions. And you see the mystery ooze that runs down the wall is what breaks the wall between the two dimensions, allowing the other dimensional people to come shop because they want to get their sushi too. Oh, hold on. Bam! But the night guard doesn't know this, and when he walks in and there's just like a bunch of blurry people shopping at his mall, he like freaks out. And I don't know what's scary about that, but I guess that's the end of the story because look at that, we're done. And I don't have any more time to make a better story. You know what? You get and you don't throw a fit. Oh, so I noticed that the light on this one looks pink. And then I figured out it's because the back is painted pink and it's reflecting. I don't know, science. And then I was like, oh my gosh, they should all be different colors. So I painted all the backs of each miniature. What? I know, my ingenuity geniusness wins again. Because I'm so smart. Anyways, what do you guys think? Oh, and also if you want to hit that like button and follow me, that'd be really cool, but no pressure. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.